My name is Nelson Maldonado. I'm an evangelist in New York. I come down to Texas to preach once a year. I preached here Wednesday night. I'm going to get to that in a minute. The doctor says I have a torn right ACL. I'm going to need knee replacements in about 5 years. I've been praying for my leg for about the last 10 years. God, heal me. If I'm doing your work, heal me. Heal me. So I'm moving the gift of healing and prophecy. So I've been praying. Last night, I asked the brother, because Todd said, grab the person next to you and pray for them. Ask them if they need a healing. So I grabbed my brother James, and I asked him to pray for my knee, and instantaneously, the pain was gone in my knee. I told him, I said, I don't feel no pain. I think God just healed me. But I waited till this morning. I got up. I jumped out of bed. I couldn't do this before. Without holding on to something. I couldn't do this without grabbing something to get up on. And I'm still walking kind of funny because my new legs feel kind of like funny to me when I'm used to taking the weight off of this leg because it will hurt from the pain. Now, what you don't understand is I was preaching here Wednesday night, and I said, the doctor says that I have a torn ACL. And notice, I don't say I have a torn right ACL. The doctor says. I said, I believe the report of the Lord. Because God can't have me evangelizing if I'm walking around like this. He's got to have me running around like this. So I want to close with these words of encouragement to each one of you. If the doctor gives you a report, who are you going to believe, the report of the doctor or the report of God? Come on. Come on.
Jesus actually flipped the script for me. On our way down here, I stopped to get water for him so that we'd have water. And I was in the grocery store real quick, and there were two people in front of me. And the first gentleman paid for his stuff. The next woman was in line, and the cashier almost put her stuff with his. And she was like, oh, no, that's mine unless he wants to pay for it. So he rings up and he leaves, and then it's her turn, and she goes to give the cash. And I was like, I know Jesus prompted me. I was like, I'm going to Todd White them. So I reached over real quick, and I swiped my card and stepped back, and I was like, oh, my God, that was so nerve-wracking. And she was like, she turns to me, and she's just jaw dropped to the floor and was like shaking, and she was like, oh, my God, why did you do that? And I was like, Jesus loves you. So it just was really cool. It was encouraging because it reminded me actually when Todd was saying, when people ask, what was it like to be where the Ark of the Covenant was? It is not it's not being at this conference that's going to give you the boldness to go out or to give that love to you, to be able to overflow it. He is going to give it to you in the time when you need it, right then. So
I'm Justin. So we kept on walking around, and then we prayed for another couple of guys, a homeless guy, and just blessing his life. I'm like, oh, God, this is awesome, just praying for people to get jobs and whatnot. And I'm just like, but, I'm seeing all these testimonies, and I'm hearing Todd White, and I'm like, man, God just put like a disabled person. I used an actual horrible terminology. I said the word like cripple. I'm like someone that's like rough shape. Like I want to see this thing. And not 2 minutes later, this guy walks right in front of us, and he's on a crutch, and he's like leaning right on, and he's like right. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna be that bad. I'm like, oh man, my nerves are already shot. Like from day one, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And I get outside, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I see this guy, and I'm like, let's just. And then my friend here, he's like, yeah, let's go. So we go over, and we told him our names, and we're just like, oh, we're just going around praying for people, and we'd like to pray for you. Oh man, he was so excited. He's like, yeah. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, my hips are screwed. He had some disease in his hips. He's like, yeah, I would love for you to pray for me. That'd be awesome. I'm like, all right. So I get down, I kneel right down and grab his hips. And as I start, at first I'm like, in my head, just like, oh man, this better work, because this guy has like high hopes. He's really hoping it works. So I start praying, and my hand's like light on fire. And at that point, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna work. So we just start praying, and we get up, and then he's like, oh, thanks a lot, And he mentioned, test it out. He's like, okay, give me space and I'll try to walk. And before he was like so slow, and he's like pulls his crutch and he starts walking and he looks quickly. He's like, no. He said they used to crack when I walked, and there's no click. He's like, I was like, but there's still a little bit of pain. So I'm like, oh man. I said, you're not going anywhere. We're gonna pray again. I said, this is gonna go away completely. Just because at this point my confidence was like, oh man, this is actually working. So I got down again and we just started praying and just telling it to get out and it doesn't belong. And we get up and he's like, okay, we'll test it. And he's really hoping it works. And he takes a step and then he just freezes. And then he looks at us and his eyes are just full of water. And he's like, no way, man. He's like, the pain is completely gone. And then,
Wow.
yeah, it was awesome. He just looks at us with this look, and I've never seen it in my life. And his eyes are just full of water, and he just jumps on. I didn't think this guy could jump. Like, he could barely walk. And he jumped and he just squeezed my neck. I'm like, he's so excited, and then he's just so thankful. And then he's like, oh, not going to need this. And he walks with his crutch, and he's like,
Wow, that's awesome.